Let's make some noise. Come on.
Oh, thank you very thank you very much, Nick Foles, and welcome back, everybody, to the final word here on the It's a Wrap Sports Network with your boy MattyB once again on the call, coming to you live and direct on this Monday evening. I guess we're back to Eagles week, which of course is going to be one of our main topics tonight because the Eagles, they're at it again. Their fourth player they've added in this sort of trade deadline period, the last 10 days or so, Jaelan Phillips. This was the move I guess people are classifying or, clarifying as the blockbuster. This is the Myles Garrett move. Jaelan Phillips, formerly of the Miami Dolphins, former first-round draft pick, is now an Eagle, and it costs us a third-round draft pick in the process. And he's also a rental because he's a free agent at the end of the year. 4 players have now been added to the Eagle defense in the past 10 days. This constitutes an overhaul of the defense. I said it last night when they added Jazeer Alexander, when we talked about that trade. When was the last time a Super Bowl champion, a defending champion, had to go out and add 4 players during the trade deadline? But the Eagles are in, and the funny thing about this, and we're going to get into this trade and how it will affect the Eagles or how it could positively or negatively. The funny thing is, the Howie Roseman offseason was an absolute disaster. It was a failure. Obviously, if you're adding 4 players during the trade deadline to the same side of the field, how can you not say his plan for this offseason, defensively at least, was a disaster? And where do I hear about that today? I hear about the magnificence of Howie Roseman, that he recognized the problem and that he's going out to fix it. Where's the criticism for the failure of the offseason? So we're going to get into that. We'll get into Jaelan Phillips. We're going to get into all of that as we prepare for the Monday night battle against the Green Bay Packers next week. We also have no baseball to talk about. Or do we? We do. Free agency is now upon us. We will do our very first hot stove segment here on the show tonight, as we'll reintroduce you to that. We did the segment last year. For those of you that were here last year, we did this segment last year, and we're going to do it not every night, but intermittently throughout the offseason, because there's going to be a lot of news that breaks about free agents that are not necessarily 100% confirmed until they sign a contract, and I'm not going to speculate. We'll kind of try to capture them all at one time. So we'll do some hot stoving tonight. We'll talk about some potential free agents that are out there. Interesting draft class, interesting free agent class this year. We're going to break some of that down. And for all of you out there that are missing baseball like I am, there's always the Arizona Fall League. And we'll talk about the Arizona Fall League tonight because the Surprise Cigarros, which is the Phillies team that they help out during the Arizona Fall League, is in currently second place as they're pushing for a showdown at the middle part of November for the AFL Championship. We'll get into some Arizona Fall League, talk about some of the players that are currently from the Phillies that are out there, discuss a little bit about that, and just have some fun with our of the night segment, our card review, and our day in Philadelphia sports history, all those great things we do on the program every single night. It's great to be back again. The 9 o'clock hour is upon us, getting used to these new hours. So bear with me. Ricky, what's going on, man? Joe Hale, how are you, Joe? Can I talk Flyers with you on live? You can talk whatever you want with me, Ricky Deal. It's your dime, brother. I'm here for you. I serve the people. I'm a man of the people. I talk whatever you want. So let's get it going tonight, though, because we got a lot to talk about. I got a lot to talk about, man. I got a lot on my mind tonight that I got to get off my chest. Let's get it started with your day in Philadelphia sports history, as we do every time on this show. But before I do that, let's remind everybody, this is your week on the It's a Wrap Sports Network at a glance. Tonight, you got me. Tomorrow, a little prop locking and parlaying. It's not a dance show for those of you who might think that. I thought it was when it first came out. And then we're also doing some Clear the Ice tomorrow night, Flyers Canadian postgame. I will be on the call, so there will be no final word. On Wednesday, it's the Pittsburgh Sports Desk and me. Thursday, we're back to getting ready for the new NFL week. Birds Blast with Kyle Quinn will return. I'll be hosting that, of course, with Kyle, as I do every week. Gridiron Weekly, me again on the final word, and then Flyers Predators postgame. Nothing on Friday, and then Saturday for you right there. So there you have the network schedule in a glance for this coming week, and new things are added all the time. Can I open the phone lines? I most definitely can, Joe Hale. We are going to open up the phone lines for you guys tonight. Joe's doing his job. Hit me early with it before I got way too deep into thought. So let's put it out there for you. The phone lines are now open. You guys know the deal here. This link has been released now to all the social media platforms and YouTube. Wherever you might be watching this, it's now going to pop up. You can click on that link. It'll put you backstage with me. I'll pull you up on screen. We can talk. I have to be able to speak to you. I don't have to see you. You don't need a camera, but I need for you to be able to speak and hear. Other than that, let's have some fun with it. So the phone lines are open, but let's get into our day in Philadelphia sports history right off the bat tonight. November the 3rd. November the 3rd's got two interesting nuggets of information, and I was sort of going back and forth about which one I wanted to do, but I decided I'm going to do both. It's a negative one and it's a positive one. Both Eagles related, by the way. Let's start with the negative one. On this day back in 2005, during an interview with ESPN, Eagles wide receiver Terrell Owens, already steamed about his contract situation, lambasted the Eagles front office for not recognizing or adequately celebrating his 100th touchdown catch in a game 2 weeks earlier against the San Diego Chargers. And this is a quote from him. That right there just shows you the type of class and integrity that they claim to be, said a frustrated Owens. They claim to be a first class and the best organization. It's an embarrassment. Later in the day, Owens was involved in a physical altercation with then team ambassador Hugh Douglas, which reportedly spilled out into the team-wide dispute. While what exactly happened in the locker room remains a sort of a mystery, the facts do remain that Owens has, for a multitude of reasons, talked himself out of this town on this day. This was the start of it all. Owens was suspended 2 days from now, November 5th, for his action. He never played another game for the Eagles. His actual stat line while in Philadelphia, or on his final game against the Broncos, I remember this game. They came back and won this game late. They were down early in this Bronco game, but came back. He had 3 catches, 150 yards, and a touchdown in his final game as an Eagle. And all that drama started today that spilled off into him doing sit-ups in the driveway and then eventually getting deactivated by the Eagles and never playing a game here ever again. So there's your day in Philadelphia sports history. The Terrell Owens drama spilleth over, and it actually had long-term ramifications. So that was your negative one. Now a positive one. On this day back in 2013, seemingly from nowhere, backup Eagles quarterback Nick Foles. That's right, our boy Nick Foles is the subject of tonight's part 2 of your day in Philadelphia sports history. Nick Foles threw 7 touchdowns in a 49-20 victory over the Oakland Raiders. When was the last time Jalen Hurts threw 7 touchdowns in one game? Subbing for an injured Michael Vick, Foles compiled a perfect quarterback rating of 158.3, completing 78.6% of his passes for 406 yards and no interceptions. But the key stat, of course, was the 7 touchdowns. Foles is just one of 8 quarterbacks to accomplish the feat, along with Peyton Manning, Y.A. Tittle, Joe Kapp, Sid Luckman, George Blanda, and the Eagles' Adrian Burke actually did it, and Drew Brees. Foles' historic day did more than just aid his chances of future starts in Eagles green. It was a sudden glimpse of stardom, right? And of course, we all know, Nick Foles had a roundabout career, which was accented only when he was here. Seemed that the only place he could play well was here, and culminated with helping us win Super Bowl 52. But on this day, 2 very interesting situations in Philadelphia sports history. Terrell Owens and his drama finally got the best of him and the Eagles, and Nick Foles, 7 touchdowns against the Raiders in a game that I very, very vividly remember watching that game. I was in 2013? I was in Tennessee. Yeah, I was stationed down in Fort Campbell. So there's your Philadelphia, your days in Philadelphia sport, your moments in Philadelphia sports history, brought to you by the fine folks here at the It's a Wrap Sports Network, specifically the hockey people, which is me and Mike. We bring you Clear the Ice every night. We've actually missed one show so far this year. That was not my fault. It was a technical problem. But typically, we advertise 82 games, and we're going to try to get you 82. I got you Tuesday against the Canadians, as the Flyers will be back at it. And then Thursday night will be Mike. And then I will be back Saturday afternoon to do some Ottawa Senators with you. So make sure you're tuned in for the best and only coverage in Flyers postgame. So there you have it. Days in Philadelphia sports history, Terrell Owens and Nick Foles. And let's bring on Ricky Deal. Ricky, you said you wanted to chat Flyers. Let's chat Flyers. Go. How you doing, by the way?
I'm good.
Good to hear. What's on your mind?
Let's go Flyers.
Let's go Flyers. Ricky Deal, Rick Tocchet the other night after the what would they play the other night? It was a Calgary game. After the 2-1 loss to Calgary, kind of called out his team a little bit, saying somebody in that locker room needs to step up. The weekend's been a disaster. We haven't played well offensively. Some criticism, some backlash to that. Rick Deal, the Flyers are a rebuilding hockey team. The expectations of this team are, tempered in that rebuild. How do you feel about Rick Tocchet's comments? Do you feel those were warranted comments against his team, or does Rick Tocchet, should he keep those things inside the locker room?
Mm-hmm.
You think he should keep those things inside the locker room?
Mm-hmm.
You know what? Yeah, I kind of agree with you. Sort of had a lot of John Tortorella spun on him the other night or last night when he said those things. Kind of brought me back to the carefree days of John Tortorella. But, frustrations is an amazing thing, Ricky Deal. People get frustrated all the time and sort of project their frustrations out in different ways. I have no problem with it. The Flyers offensively have been a boring watch all season long, even though they've been winning more than they've been losing. They're just a boring offensive hockey team. I've said it a couple times. I don't like the perimeter style of offense. I hate it. This team is probably one of the worst shooting in terms of accuracy teams in the National Hockey League. And then, of course, we can talk about the power play. So when it comes to calling out the team, do you think he's putting too high expectations on this group? Because we already know that the main problem here is talent or lack of talent. Do you think Rick Tocchet's putting too much on these guys in terms of saying they're not giving their whole effort? I mean, what's your kind of take on that?
Mm-hmm.
So you think he's putting too much on them? Yeah, he might be. I don't know. All I know is we can't miss the playoffs for 6 straight years, man. We can't do that. It's never happened before in Flyers history. Ricky Deal. Ricky, Eagles Packers Monday night. One last thing I want to ask you. Jalen Phillips, give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down. Where are you at with the trade? Thumbs up. Ricky Deal's a thumbs up for a 3rd-round draft pick going to Miami and a rental player. All right. Hey, to each his own, Ricky. Please stay tuned tonight. I'm going to give you my take on the trade because I'm actually, you might be surprised or you might not be surprised, Ricky. I'm not in favor of this trade at all. I think your GM, Howie Roseman, is an incompetent boob. Honestly, I do. And I think he's showing his incompetency this year more so than most years and at the worst possible time that he can for the Eagles. So, Ricky Deal, thank you very much. And I hope to see you again tomorrow, man. Or Wednesday. I won't be here tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Ricky Deal. Good to always hear from Ricky. Ricky gives very quick to the point answers, man. He doesn't beat around the bush, unlike me. I like to belabor all my points in conversations. But you know who else does to do that? It's Joe Hale. Joe, what's up, man?
I want to talk Eagles, but you want to see something cool that I acquired today?
What you got? What you got, Joe? Joe's got a hockey helmet signed by who? Keith Primo.
No, 55.
Shane Gostisbehere.
Yes.
Nah. How'd you get that?
When he was in town, before he got traded, he would come into my store. I work for Wawa.
Uh-huh.
And he would come into my store and give me memorabilia.
For hoagies and pretzels? I mean, was there he sort of
in for coffee?
Okay. But you weren't trading memorabilia for food, right? You weren't giving him food for memorabilia. You were making him pay, right? The man's got the money.
I was making him pay.
But I went for you, Joe.
I wanted to start off with that. I have a hockey stick from Eric Lindros.
Is that signed?
Yes.
You need to get the stick. So what my suggestion to you is get that helmet under some glass and get that stick behind some glass.
Okay. I'm going to PSA the helmet. See how much I need.
Yeah, I would definitely do that. Absolutely. But make sure you pack it really, follow the instructions on the website on how to send equipment in.
Okay, I will.
Yeah.
But you asked Ricky's thoughts on the Eagles trade.
I did, and I'm going to ask your thoughts too there, Joe.
I don't like it. He was hurt last year. He's a rental player. I get the draft pick. And that draft pick is a compensation draft pick. It's not a normal draft pick.
But it's a third round pick.
Yes.
We're at in that third. But you're right. We're at in that third round is unknown. I get you there. But it's still another pick off the pile. Granted, we had 3. Now we're down to 2. But now we're down to 8 draft picks. We started at 13. Now, I'm not saying that Howie Roseman should go out and draft night and draft 13 players. I'm not saying that. But if I was a GM going to the table on draft night with 13 draft picks, the rest of the league will be blowing my phone up because they know I'm not taking 13 players. And I can maneuver picks. I can maneuver trades for future drafts. I could set the Eagles up for years with 13 draft picks. But we've, in my opinion, have squandered them away. And we're down to just like sort of what you go into normally with 8. I don't like that, man.
He sucks as a GM this year. Does he know what he's doing? Yes. Yes, I said that. He sucks as a GM this year. He should have went in the off season. Huh?
Well, you better be careful, Joe. The Howie Gestapo is going to come crashing through your windows any second now, man. Take you to that re-education camp. You better be careful.
Okay. Yeah, Howie was a bust in the off season there. I said it. And I totally agree with my statement. You had players that you could have kept and didn't want to spend the money on defense.
Yep. You did. And I'm not saying you needed to pay Josh Sweat $20 billion. No, I'm not saying Josh. That. No, but you could have kept Rodgers. You could have kept either Slay or CJ. You could have kept Becton on the offense.
Slay is hurt now. But
right, and so did CJ, and he ended up getting cut. I get all that, but we don't know if that was going to happen to them here. I mean, they had coming off of a Super Bowl. Listen, I understand the philosophy around what he did, but I always said this. As a defending Super Bowl champion, when you have an opportunity to start an Eagles dynasty, was this the right plan in the offseason to completely overhaul the defense and then of course, fail in your plan to restock it? And now we're here at the trade deadline. We've added 4 defensive players over the last 10 days. That's unprecedented for a defending Super Bowl champion at a trade deadline. 1, 2 players, yeah. They've added 4. And that, to me, constitutes an overhaul of the defense.
Can I say 5? I think the Eagles are going to go out and get 1 more player.
Well, we got some time left.
Yes.
Do you think they go offensive line or tight end? You think they go defense again?
I would try to bring in Zach Ertz.
Yeah, it's been. I've heard that today. Yeah, I would not be against that 100%.
Washington needs a quarterback. That injury last night.
Yeah, nasty, man. Nasty.
Why? I want to bash Dan Quinn. Why would you keep him in there when you're getting blown out?
Yeah, and he said it today. He shouldn't have. He said something like, "I missed that one." I mean, what do you mean you missed that one? You guys were down by 30 points. You missed that you're down by 30 points? I mean, yeah, there's no reason why he was out there.
It's not. Cowboys just blocked the punt for a touchdown at 10-7.
So Star Wars reports. I initially thought that was 10-0 Canadians. That's what I thought he wrote when I first saw that pop up. I thought he was saying 10-0 Canadians. I was like, God damn. What are they going off on tonight? But yeah, 10-7. 10-7.
What are your thoughts on Eagles?
On the trades?
Yes, on the last trade.
So obviously Jalen Phillips does present an upgrade. He does. He constitutes an upgrade, but at a very steep price. And again, I just wasn't expecting this type of season in terms of the way the personnel have worked out for the defense. And, I probably would have been excited about this trade back in freaking April. I've probably been really excited about bringing him in April for a
Hey.
third round draft pick.
I heard people say he's Brandon Graham 2.0. Would you say that?
Brandon Graham 2.0, like a younger version of Brandon Graham. I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, he does have injury issues, and but I can overlook those. And yes, he's a former first round pick, and he's had only really one great season. It's been everything. Injuries have been sort of involved in the rest of it. But Joe, I can't get past the third round draft pick for a rental player. That's a move a team that's desperate to win a championship does, not the defending Super Bowl champions.
But
again, the optics of it all wrong for me, man.
Unless they re-sign him on a one-year deal, you're talking about a dynasty in the making. If they win a Super Bowl, dynasty.
100%. 100% is a dynasty. But now you're looking at a potential situation with the birth of a dynasty. If they win, you got 23 of your own free agents starting next season, and you got only 8 draft picks. So Howie's put himself in a little bit of a corner. It's almost like he's all in. But that's not what I want. I want sustained winning, Joe. I've always wanted sustained. I don't want to go year to year. There's a lot of people out there that say, well, the NFL, it's a year-to-year league now. It's season by season. You start over from scratch. No, you don't have to have it like that. If you draft well and you maneuver the cap and sign good free agents, it doesn't have to be stripping it down every year and starting over. I mean, the Patriots, when they were winning all those Super Bowls, they were pretty consistent with their teams. The Chiefs were very consistent. Why are we constantly, and I say we as the Eagles, stripping this thing down literally year to year and starting over? It's not a good look. It's almost like winning the Super Bowl surprised Howie. Like, oh crap, now my plan of ripping things down and building them all up again is screwed up because now I got to defend the championship. If
you look what he did the same thing when they first won it. When they beat the Patriots, they lost everybody. You have an outside coordinator. Who was it? Was it Patricia?
What, in 2018?
Yeah, who was it?
Who was the Eagles offensive?
Okay.
No, in 2018, the Eagles offensive coordinator in 2018.
It was Ken Johnson, right?
No, it was the dude that Doug brought in to replace Frank Reich. It was the guy that he ended up getting fired over because he wouldn't fire him at the end of the 20 season. It was that guy. I can't remember his name. It was one of his cronies. It was the former quarterback guy that he brought in. Can't remember his name, but he was fired. Doug was fired over him because Frank Reich took the job in Indianapolis after the Super Bowl.
Yeah. I got you.
Doug replaced him with one of his own guys from inside. I forget his name. I want to say Kevin Padula, but that's not right. It was like a guy like that. Grow, maybe was his name. John Grow, Jim Grow, or something like that. And that was the guy that they wanted. They wanted the fireman. Yeah. So it was that guy.
All right. I got you. All right. That's all
you got for me tonight? Is that all you got? All right, Joe. Well, listen, man. Thanks for tuning in. I'll be back Wednesday night, Joe. So make sure you're back here. I appreciate it.
I'll remind you Wednesday for the phone lines.
I know you will, Joe. Thank you very much, Joe Hale. Yeah, what the hell was that guy's name, man? It was the guy that they ended up firing Doug Peterson over because he wouldn't fire him. Wasn't Grow? I'll remember it. I ain't looking it up. I don't care. Can I wish you a happy birthday? I will. I'll type it out for you later on. Sauer says we lose trade. Ooh. He's saying how he sucked. Yes, he was saying how he sucked. And if he's not going to say it, I'll say it. How he sucks, man. Joe is being kind. Joe said how he sucks this year. I say how he sucks all the time. But listen, honestly, let's look at this. Let's peel this trade back. Let's peel back what's been happening all season long with this team. I hate to be the one that consistently says this, and I am going to say it over and over again. I was against this plan from the beginning. I rallied against it all offseason. I put up pretty little graphics saying, is this the right plan for the defending Super Bowl champions? They let 7 players go in total, 7 high contributors from the Super Bowl team, replaced them with a bunch of Class B free agents, and some draft pick hopefuls that could step up into a higher role. None of that has worked, and majority of those players were on the defense. Now, for the first 2 or 3 weeks of the season, it looked like it was working because the defense looked really good, but then they hit a wall by being out on the field all the time, and then they got injuries, and now they're left with the situation being the way it is. And so Howie Roseman over the past 10 days has replaced 4 players, has brought in 4 new pieces for the defense. That constitutes an overhaul, in my opinion. Now, not all of these 4, maybe with the exception, honestly, Jalen Phillips is probably the only one that's going to see starter-like time. The rest of them are going to be like rotational depth guys. But still, you're talking 4 new pieces to the defense, 3 of them from the outside, and you retreaded Brandon Graham, which to me, when I saw it, I said it was a move of desperation. You're bringing back a guy that retired because you're desperate to plug a hole on your defensive line, whether it be for 15 plays a game or 40 plays a game, whatever. It's a move of desperation. How we started the offseason or the season with 13 draft picks. 13! We're down to 8. A little recap of those 8 right now. Today, as of tonight, the Eagles have a first, a second. Now we have 2 thirds, 2 4s, and 2 5s. Again, I'm not telling you that I thought Howie Roseman was going to enter next year's draft. And I know people are going to say, what are you talking about the draft? It's 7-8 months from now. Yeah, you're right. But how many times once we get the draft night are like, God damn, I wish we had more picks. I wish we could make more trades or bring in more capital or maneuver up the board, maneuver down the board. Well, with 13 draft picks, you had that opportunity to do that. Everybody would have been calling Howie on draft night. Hey, let's switch picks. I want to go up here. I want to go down there. I want to get to this round. I want to go next year. Those 13 picks could have been used to maneuver yourself, to set yourself up for the future. Howie is now hamstringed us for that, and now we have basically the minimum allotted draft picks that you usually go into a draft with 8. And then I get the other side of that from the window licking homers, the real bad ones that say, I don't care about draft picks. I want to win Super Bowls. But you can have the cake and you can have to eat it too. You don't got to listen. Howie is really running this thing like the Eagles have never been here before. He's doing this like he's never done this before. You are the defending Super Bowl champions. You failed in the offseason, and now you've gone off and you've mortgaged somewhat of your short-term future on rental players that have some injury concerns, players that are coming off of some bad stretches of play with their former teams. Jalen Phillips, again, the best one of them all. For what? If this does not work and if this does not hit, now seemingly all 4 of these guys are going to catch the defense on like this week in practice, right? We're good. Now, granted, Phillips is a Vic Fangio guy. He played with him down in Miami. It's the system he's familiar with. It may not be that hard for him to sort of acclimate. I get that. But you're asking for 4 of these guys to come in and not miss beat and be ready to go. Yeah, Jair Alexander hasn't played in like 6 weeks because he's been a healthy scratch. You've mortgaged your future. You have on 3 players from the outside and Brandon Graham. Is this the optic look for a defending Super Bowl champion? And where is the criticism other than from me with Howie Roseman and his failed offseason? I hear it all. I heard it all day today. Oh, he's amazing. He's recognized his pride. Well, stop making the goddamn mistakes. Where's the criticism of a bad offseason? And not the obligatory, well, Howie didn't have the greatest. No, he had a terrible offseason. He had a terrible offseason, and he's taken some of this team's future, and he's now mortgaged it with a hopes of an all-in like thing. You're the defending champs, and you're doing this all-in crap? You shouldn't have to do that as the defending Super Bowl champion. Howie Roseman is a fraud, and it's a shame. He's the biggest snake oil salesman I've ever seen in my life. And there's millions of people who have drank the Kool-Aid of this fraud. And now we're sleeping in bed with them. Now, granted, the Eagles go off and win a Super Bowl this year, dynasty. But 23 incoming free agents, only 8 draft picks. Can we keep that going? Why can't we set ourselves up for success? Why can't Howie Roseman do that? Was it the money? It's the money situation. Is it the draft picks that are about to become free agents? The Jalen Carters, the Jordan Davises of the world? Did Howie overextend the money situation and he had no choice but to do what he did in the offseason? And I said this, I think it was last week. I said, what was it? This could have been the plan. How he rolled the dice, or how he knew maybe it wasn't the right offseason plan, but he had to get bodies in here. And he was hoping for the trade deadline to utilize some of these 13 draft picks. I think it's the wrong plan. I much would rather have those picks in April than in October. But Jalen Phillips is an upgrade of what we have here. I will give you that 100%. But at what cost does he come at? And is he that much of an upgrade that he cost you a third-round draft pick? That's a pretty high price to pay for this guy. And again, one really good season. And everything else sort of leveled off with injuries and subpar play. What's his numbers so far this year? Let's go over them real quick. 25 tackles, 3 sacks, no forced fumbles, no interceptions. He's had 14 solo or 13 solo tackles. I mean, pedestrian numbers, but 3 sacks. I mean, unfortunately, that sounds pretty damn good for this defense, but he's had an okay season, but you gave up a third-round draft pick for him. That's all I'm trying to say. I just don't like the philosophy of this fraud GM of Howie Roseman. I don't like the philosophy of it. But millions of people have jumped into bed with this guy. When are you going to see this, man? When am I going to stop being on this hill by myself? Mike Rowe, that was his name. That was the guy that Doug brought in 2018 to replace Frank Reich. And then in 2020, when it all blew up completely, Doug wouldn't fire Mike Rowe. And so Doug essentially got fired in his stay. And then I think Rowe got fired anyway because they brought Sirianni here. Mike Rowe was his name. You're right. Caven suck. The hell does that mean? What's Caven? 17-7. Star Wars is reporting the Canadians are 17-7. Cardinals up against the Cowboys. I swear to God, when I first saw him put this in, I thought it was 10-0 Canadians. I was like, God damn. Whip ass going on in the NHL tonight. Now it was 10-0 Cardinals, but there you go. That's my little Eagles spiel. Jalen Phillips is here. We got about 17, 18 more hours till we get to that trade deadline. Is there another move forthcoming? Is Myles Garrett still in play? Now, listen, if they went out and got Myles Garrett, that's 5 defensive players. You're pretty much going to say goodbye to just about all your draft picks. But I'd be very intrigued by that move. But optically, it looks like it looks desperate, man. This stuff looks desperate to me. You 4 players, man, you've added over the last 10 days. No defending Super Bowl champion has ever, in my knowledge, has ever gone out and had to add 4 players during the trade deadline. But yeah, we're going to commend the man. We're going to commend him for identifying a problem. What about the criticism for creating the problem, for the wrong plan in the offseason, for letting these guys walk away, and now mortgaging our future in order to sort of go all in for a Super Bowl run? So Jalen Phillips is an upgrade. I don't know if he's a third-round draft pick upgrade and rental player upgrade. I don't know about all that, but he's an upgrade. We'll wait and see how things work out. Caven suck as an offensive coordinator. Is that okay? Star Wars is on about the Monday Night Football game. Go your best self, Star Wars. All right, let's focus now. Let's switch gears. Baseball is back in the news tonight. Yeah, we got no season. We got the Arizona Fall League real quick, just to kind of update you guys. The Arizona Fall League is currently ongoing right now. Their championship game is at the middle of the month. The Surprise Cigarros, which are the team that the Phillies send players to, are currently in second place in their division. Well, it's only one division, and they're 2 games off the pace for first place. So they got a shot at getting to the Arizona Fall League championship game. The Phillies have 8 prospects playing out in Arizona, headlined by Dante Nore, our first-round pick in 2024. He's out there along with Dylan Campbell, Brian Racone, names that we talked about all throughout the summer, highlighting some of their accomplishments as they were working their way through the minor leagues. Pitchers, we got Iverson Castellano, Jack Dallas, Jaden Estina, Daniel Harper and Tommy McCullum, 8 total players that are participating for the Surprise Cigarros. It used to be the Glendale Desert Dogs, but we apparently switched affiliation this year. So for those of you that are jonesing for baseball, head over to MLB.com, search Arizona Fall League, and it'll take you right to the page where you can stream their games free. It's a good watch, and especially now that we're getting down to the crunch time of the league, and we got opportunities to see if they can get to the World's or their championship game. So, but other news along Major League Baseball, and we are officially into the free agency period. I guess legal tampering would be the phase we're in right now, as teams are able to negotiate and re-sign their own free agents right now. They got to wait till Wednesday, I believe, in order for the trade market to open back up. No more trade freeze. And, of course, that trade freeze will go on to the end of July next year. And we can also start bringing in external free agents. So, on this program, we did it last year. We're going to bring it back this year, and we're going to start tonight our first installment of the It's a Wrap Sports Hot Stove Report here on The Final Word. That's right. It's the hot stove. God, it's so depressing having to say that, but we are going to I'm going to have to get used to it. Free agency is somewhat upon us. We got one move. Actually, there's a couple of moves I want to talk about. First, let's talk about the signing. There was a signing already unofficially. Journeyman pitcher Caleb Bushley, formerly of the Twins, signed a minor league contract with an invite to spring training from the Texas Rangers. And that is the only unofficial news that I have of players moving addresses. It's unofficial because they can't actually do that till Wednesday. But that's one of the moves that we can talk about. The only move we can really talk about. Other moves, it came out today that Edwin Diaz, the fireball thrower of the New York Mets, closer, I guess. I mean, he kind of lost his job to Ryan Hesley there. Has opted out of his remaining 2 years on his contract, and he'll hit the open market. Cody Bellinger from the Yankees as well has opted out of his option year next year, and he will hit the open market. Ryan Hesley is a free agent, just a UFA. So that New York Met bullpen that wasn't really that doing well at all towards the end of the season, just got worse. AJ Minter is the only one left standing out there in that New York Met back into their bullpen. So big news coming out. Cody Bellinger does not interest me at all. I don't need that. He's a center fielder by trade, right? Was he a first baseman by trade? They had him out in center field for the Yankees. So I don't really have a place for Cody Bellinger on this baseball team. And of course, Diaz, I think, is a fraud too. So some interesting internal news around Major League Baseball as it pertains to free agencies. I love the new logo. That's a segment logo. Again, Joe, if you weren't, I don't think you were listening last year, and that's okay. But we did this last year during this time of the year throughout the winter, doing some hot stoves. We will check in intermediately throughout. I'm not going to do it every day because some of this stuff doesn't come official. It's time, and we'll update it a couple times a week. But that was your first hot stove report here on the It's a Wrap Sports and on the Final Word. And that was brought to you by the Locks, Props, and Parlay program. Every Tuesday at 8, Mike Laro will join you and give you his picks for entertainment purposes only, of course. So make sure you're checking Mike out tomorrow night at 8 and every Tuesday night at 8 here on the network. Sticking with baseball, though, we are also in that time of the year. It's award season, folks. Yeah, that's right. Baseball is going to start handing out their postseason or their season awards. We've already gotten some of them done. Let's talk about though some of the awards that are not been handed out. So as we move through the rest of this part of the winter, like right up to Christmas, they'll give out all these awards. Last night they gave out the Gold Gloves, and we're going to talk about that in a second. But the big awards that everybody's, of course, looking at is, the MVP, Cy Young, Rookie of the Year, Manager of the Year. They're the big ones that everybody looks at. And the finalists for some of these awards have been announced tonight. MLB Network reported that the finalists for the NL Most Valuable Player Award, Shohei Ohtani, no surprise there. Kyle Schwarber, of course, from the Phillies, and friggin' Juan Soto. How the hell does Juan Soto become a finalist for MVP? But he's one of the three finalists. Over in the American League, Aaron Judge, Cal Riley, and Jose Ramirez from the Guardians are your finalists for MVP. In the NL with Cy Young, Chris Sanchez today announced as one of the finalists, much deserved. Paul Skeens as well from the Pirates, and Yoshimo Yamamoto from the Dodgers got the nod today as finalists in the American League. On the Cy Young side, Hunter Brown from the Astros, Garrett Crochet from the Red Sox, and Tarek Skubal from the Tigers are your finalists. Rookie of the Year in the National League, you got Drake Baldwin, you got Caleb Durbin of the Brewers, their third baseman, and Cal Horton, the right-hand pitcher from the Cubs. Roman Anthony, Nick Kurtz, and Jacob Wilson, which are interesting names. I remember talking about these guys, as they were getting ready to come out a couple years ago. They were hot commodities in their draft class. Roman Anthony, of course, of the Red Sox, Nick Kurtz of the A's, and Jacob Wilson, also of the A's, all in consideration for Rookie of the Year. And that's, two A's players make the finals for Rookie of the Year. I said this at the end of the season. The A's ain't that far away. They're really not. They're going to be a very, very, very tough team, probably in about 2 or 3 years. And just around the time that it takes them to get to Vegas, the A's will be back. Obviously highlighted today with 2 of their younger players being announced finalists for Rookie of the Year. Manager of the Year award, this blew me the hell away. In the National League, your finalists are Terry Francona of the Reds, Pat Murphy of the Brewers, and friggin' Rob Thompson. Rob Thompson? I was looking, maybe it was a different Rob Thompson, but no. Rob Thompson somehow found his way as a finalist for Manager of the Year. What in the hell? Out in the American League, John Schneider of the Blue Jays, Stephen Vogt of the Guardians, and Dan Wilson of the Mariners. They make sense. Pat Murphy of the Brewers makes sense. Francona out there in Cincy makes sense. Of course, John Schneider taking the Blue Jays to within a whisper of winning the World Series makes sense. Stephen Vogt makes sense. Dan Wilson and the Mariners, I said, makes sense. What in the hell is Rob Thompson doing on that list? That makes no sense. It tells me that I'm on an island. Or we are, I shouldn't say me, but we are on an island when it comes to watching Rob Thompson. People around the country are watching something else. Maybe we're not getting the real picture. But Rob Thompson today announced as a finalist for Manager of the Year. God, please don't. He can't win, man. There's no way. He can't win. We do have some actual awards been given out. The Gold Gloves for the American and National League were announced last night. American League Gold Glovers at catcher Dylan Dingler from the Tigers. First baseman Ty France for the Blue Jays and Twins. I started the season with the Twins, got dealt to the Blue Jays at the deadline. He wins the Gold Glove at first. Your Gold Glove second baseman Marcus Semien of the Rangers. Your shortstop Bobby Witt Jr. With the Royals. Third baseman was Mikhail Garcia for the Royals. In the outfield in the American League, Stephen Kwan wins the Gold Glove out and left. Your center fielder is Cadena Rafaela of the Red Sox. Your right fielder is Wilber Abreu from the Red Sox. Your pitcher, Max Fried of the Yankees, wins the Gold Glove. And your utility man was Marcino Dubon of the Astros. Those are your American League Gold Glovers. Over the National League, Patrick Bailey of the Giants is your catcher. Matt Olson wins the Gold Glove at first from the Braves. Your second baseman, Nico Horner from the Cubs. Shortstop was Mason Wynn of the Cardinals. Your third baseman is LeBron Hayes of the Pirates and Reds, again, dealt at the trade deadline. Out in left field, Ian Happ from the Cubs. Your center fielder was PCA, Pete Crow Armstrong from the Cubs. And your right fielder, Fernando Tatis Jr. from the Padres. And those are your Gold Glove winners of 2025. No Phillies on that list. Really thought Ryan Kirkering was going to win the Gold Glove. Ryan Kirkering was going to be our Gold Glove pitcher. But there you have your Gold Gloves of 2025. And there you have it. So we'll keep you updated on the awards as they come out. Again, Rob Thompson can't get over the fact a finalist for National League Manager of the Year. So is the Happy Valley Huddle being seen on? No, it's on Tuesday. It's on Tuesday. But it normally is on Saturday. It's not going to be on this Saturday. It's going to be on Tuesday. Why is Rob Thompson? I don't know. Joe, I have no idea. Not only is he on the list. I mean, listen, if he a candidate, yes, okay, whatever. He won 96 games. I get that. But to be a finalist, to be alongside of Terry Francona and Murphy from the Brewers, you're telling me that nobody else in the National League. I mean, Dave Roberts, maybe he didn't do a good job. I'm thinking around. Let's look at the National League. Well, who else? I mean, look, maybe he won just by out of like nobody else. I mean, I don't know. But Rob Thompson, you're right. What the hell is he doing on that list? How? I don't know. Star Wars, I don't know. I wish I did. Call Major League Baseball. We should start an email campaign. We should email New York, Major League Baseball, from concerned Phillies fans asking, how is Rob Thompson a finalist for the NL Manager of the Year? Because I want to know. I would love to know the metrics there. How was that figured out? Gabe Kapler is the new GM of the Marlins. Good for them. Oh, he's not here. Well, I don't care. As long as he's not here, he can spit out ice cream and anybody else's trash. Just not here. But there you go. Yeah, I mean, Rob Thompson, man. And you know what? The worst would be, the absolute worst. This would probably be the first time in the history of baseball that he would win Manager of the Year, and it would be a complete, like, laughable situation. We would laugh at it as Phillies fans. We'd be embarrassed by it as Phillies fans. And so I hope to hell he does not win it. The Baseball Hall of Fame was also at it today as they put out their 2026 Contemporary Baseball Era Ballad. These are some of the players that, for whatever reason, never made it into the Hall of Fame, fell off the Veterans Committee, are now in the Contemporary Committee. So Barry Bonds, Roger Clemens, Carlos Delgado, Jeff Kent, Don Mattingly, Dale Murphy, Gary Sheffield, and Fernando Valenzuela are all your contemporary baseball era ballot players this year. Only one will get in off this list as part of the class of 2026. You can take Bonds and Clemens right off the list. They don't deserve it, and they never will. Delgado, Kemp, Mattingly, Murphy, Sheffield, Valenzuela. Honestly, to me, it's down to three players here: Mattingly, Murphy, and Valenzuela. And if I got to reduce the list from there, sorry, Donnie Baseball, you're out. It goes down to Dale Murphy and Fernando. And at the very end of the day, I'm going to go ahead with Dale Murphy. I don't know why he's not in there. Dale Murphy needs to be in there. Now, Fernando can go next year because he'd probably be the candidate I would choose out of this group next year without Dale Murphy on it. But Dale Murphy needs to get in. It's a shame he's not in. Damn shame that he's not in. So here's hoping Dale Murphy finds his way into the Hall of Fame this year. Deservedly so, man. I don't know why he's not in there. But there was your contemporary era ballad list from the Hall of Fame. The class of 2026 ballot will come out here soon as well, and we'll talk about that when it comes out. Of course, it's got some Phillies flavor to it. Utley and Rollins, once again, will be back on that list. Is this the year one of them get in? And God forbid, is this the year both of them get in? God, I would... 2026 is shaping up to be a pretty good year baseball-wise for the city of Philadelphia. We already know about the All-Star game, the draft, futures game. All that's going to happen here. Then you factor in the WBC in March. But what a kick in the pants it would be if we can get Utley and Rollins into the Hall of Fame this summer. It would be a complete, just amazing summer for Phillies baseball, if that can happen. And we will be live and direct from Cooperstown, New York, if that happens, if they get in. I will broadcast up there all week long leading up to their enshrinement, and I will get coverage of the enshrinement. So that's a promise to you that if Utley and Rollins, whenever they get in, hopefully it's together, I will be on the scene covering that because it's would be amazing. Walt Weiss was named the new manager of the Braves. Yes, he was. Kirk don't. Yes, he does. Ryan Kirkering deserves a Gold Glove. Yeah. No, of course he doesn't. But no Phillies on the Gold Glove list either. So we've entered that time of the year. There is no actual baseball to be played, but there's going to be a bunch to talk about. Free agency, the awards that are going to be coming out over the course of the next couple weeks, months. Gold Gloves have been announced, and then we'll start getting into the big ones. Kyle Schwarber, Juan Soto, and Shohei Ohtani are your finalists for NL MVP. I'm sorry. One, I don't know what the hell Juan Soto's doing on that list either. And, Schwarber had a year for the ages. He had one of the best years that any Phillies hitter's ever had, Definitely his best year as a Phillies hitter. But does he even compare to Ohtani? I mean, let's look deeper. I don't care about, Ohtani and gambling and his contract and what the Dodgers did. I don't care about that. But let's look at it from a face value. Does Ohtani really hold a candle to anybody else in this league right now, either in the National or the American League? I'm going to say no, and I'm going to give it to Ohtani this year until somebody else comes up. Now, Schwarber was also pitching, and he had like 15 wins, 200 strikeouts to go along with 58 home runs. Yeah, hands down. But I cannot not look what Ohtani brings to the mix. So he is my MVP. Out in the American League, interesting Ramirez from the Guardians, the big dumper Cal Riley from the Mariners, and Aaron Judge also from the Yankees. They're your three finalists. Again, until somebody else says otherwise, Aaron Judge is the guy. He just puts up elite numbers year after year after year. And until somebody else, now Riley had a great year. He had an awesome year, but it's just so consistent the way Judge does it. And again, until somebody else says otherwise, Aaron Judge will be my pick for AL MVP this season. So we'll definitely be bringing it to you as it unfolds. And as we get ready for the shopping spree that is free agency, I want to go over a couple names on the list, just a few, maybe 10 or 15, of some of the impending free agents. Alex Bregman is going to be a free agent. Pete Alonso, of course, the most coveted free agent for me. Cody Bellinger today, brand new, decided to opt out, so he'll hit the open market. Jordan Montgomery, a nice starting pitcher, 33 years old when the season will begin. He comes at a AAV of about $2 million. Listen, I'm okay with bringing Jordan Montgomery here. Absolutely. He only comes with an AAV. His AAV was $25 million. That's the contract he had signed with Baltimore or with Milwaukee. But his market value AAV is about $2.6 million. What's a 1-year deal for about $5 million? Boom, sign him up. Trevor Story, JT Realmuto, Nick Martinez, Chris Bassett, Salvador Perez, the catcher from the Kansas City Royals, comes with a AAV of $14 million. He's an attractive situation, but he's going to be 36 when the season begins, which is 2 years younger or a year younger than JT. If I'm stuck with having to make a decision between JT and Perez, I'm going to have to go with JT. Edwin Diaz, again, of course, new to the free agent market as of today. Kyle Schwarber, Sterling Marte, who's about 100 years old. Lucas Giolito, Chris Sale, Framber Valdez, Milos Mikolos, Jock Peterson, Jack Flaherty has got a player option. Jock Peterson also has a player option. Rhys Hoskins, who's has not made his decision about either taking, or him or the Brewers have not made their decision about the mutual option yet. Frankie Montes has got a player option. I wonder if he opts out. Michael Conforto from the Dodgers is a UFA. $6 million, market value AAV. 33 when the season starts. He's a left fielder. Maybe you take a flyer. Maybe you don't go with my drastic rookie lineup, and maybe you take a flyer on Michael Conforto. I don't know. Kyle Tucker, of course, is a name that people are talking about here in town. Marcell Ozuna, David Robertson, Max Scherzer, Justin Verlander, probably both will retire. Gleyber Torres on the open market there. Alex Cobb, Hassan Kim, Rasul Iglesias, Josh Naylor, an attractive piece for first base. If you miss on Alonso, there's Josh Naylor sitting there, so you probably got to bring him here. Jan Monacan, John Gray, Luis Arraez, who's my, I want him so bad. Zach Gallen. Zach Gallen's a free agent. $18 million market value AAV. I'm not looking at that. Dylan Cease, Zach Eflin, and the list goes on and on. So there's just a sample size of some of the free agents that the Phillies will have an opportunity to look at heading into this period. So some decent names out there this year. Dave Suck. Okay. Star Wars says Dave Suck. Who's Dave? All right, let's get into our of the night segment. All right, yeah, we are basically, as the title of the slide says, we're sort of locked into some Flyer prospects. We're not quite ready to talk about the MLB draft, or we're not quite ready to start spotlighting Phillies players, and we're not quite ready to start talking about the MLB draft, or yes, NHL and MLB draft. So it is only going to be Flyers prospects tonight over the next course of the next couple months. By January, we'll start breaking some other things down for you in terms of other areas that we want to take a look at as we prepare for the summer sports to return. But tonight we're going to stick with our Flyer prospects. Last night we did Tony Dick, which again, probably not ready to call him a prospect anymore. 2015. This kid that we're going to talk about tonight is definitely a prospect. Flyers came about him earlier this offseason, back in September, in a trade with the Seattle Kraken. It's Tucker Robertson. He's a center right-wing hybrid he's currently down in Lehigh Valley. 5'11", 194, was a former fourth-round pick in 2022 of the Kraken. We came to appreciate his anticipation-based defensive game, along with his ability to place himself and his stick in the right position at the right time to intercept passes and turn them into offensive chances. Robertson was acquired on September 5th in exchange for John Randall Avon, who's been was a Flyer, toiled around the Flyer minor league system for, like 100 years. Avon was a UDFA, undrafted free agent, back in 2021 and really hung in there for the Flyers. I mean, he was a real consummate contributor. Spent a cup of coffee with the Flyers, but Robertson obviously got a little bit more of a plus side to him, younger player. I don't like the physical makeup that much of him. I don't like the 5'11" stature of a center right winger. I know it's a different NHL, and I got to get used to that. But through 6 games down in Lehigh this season, he is 2 goals, 4 assists for 6 points and a +4, which is pretty good. So one of those project pieces that the Flyers are going to work on. Maybe at this point, because he's never played a game in the NHL. Robertson has never gotten higher than AHL. And I don't know, maybe he's one of these tweener guys again, and we're picking up for depth purposes. But, hey, it's Danny B trying to get better offensively. And Avon was what he was, and he wasn't going to do anything for the Flyers. And now you just sort of roll the dice with somebody else. But Tucker Robertson, tonight, your Flyer prospect of the night. And there you go. Can't really get excited about that. I want to get excited about some people, man. Dave Dombrowski sucks. Yeah. Somebody asked me this the other day. Was it Mike Lara when I was on the PM and the AM program? He said, does Rob Thompson start the season out in the hot seat? Well, could be the reigning NL manager of the year for all I know. But yeah, I think he does start out as on the hot seat. But, joining him on that hot seat has got to be his buddy, Dave Dombrowski. Not only has Dave brought sort of the pieces in here with the Schwarber, Castellanos, Trey Turner. He's brought them here. He's also the guy who says we're not pivoting off of it yet. We're going to stick with it. We're going to stay on this course. Now, a lot is going to be telling us as we move through the offseason how much the Phillies are going to pivot off the current DNA of this roster. And I hope it's a lot. I hope it's significant. But Dave Dombrowski deserves to be seated firmly next to his buddy Rob Thompson on that hot seat starting in April. I 100% agree. 24/7. Star Wars keeps us updated on the Monday night game. I'll keep you updated on how much the PSA tells me about the helmet. Yeah, please. Shane Gossifear helmet. Yeah, it should, it's a nice little piece for anybody's rumpus room, Same thing with an Eric Lindros stick. Now, I guarantee that thing's probably going to cost, that's going to go for some money, man. I'm talking about a Hockey Hall of Famer. Joe Hale breaking out the memorabilia, man. How does Shane Gossifear bring me some memorabilia? I don't work at Walmart or Wawa, but, I want some memorabilia. God damn it. But no, that's good stuff, Joe. Good find there for you, by the way. All right, let's break into our final segment of the night. Yep. It's MattyB's card review tonight. Last night we were back up in the modern era. Did that awesome Next Stop Stardom, that 2018 card featuring Shohei Ohtani, Upton, and a young Mike Trout, a young Ohtani, his rookie year. That was a diamond that I found submerged in a pile of $1 cards in my own collection. That card could have walked out my door for $1. Somebody could have been going through the Angel box and been like, "Oh, here you go. I'll take this one for $1." And of course, we've priced it. I've looked at it. It's a pretty valuable piece of property right now, and it should only get valuable as these players' careers sort of wind down. Tonight, we're heading back in time a little bit. We're going back to 1988. We're going back to one of the back into the wax packs era, into a card that is not as, you would think financially it'd be better than it is, seeing how it's got 2 Hall of Famers on it and 1 very good player listed on this, but it's not. It's $3-4. I could probably get it for $5. I could probably sell it for $5, but it doesn't really have a financial, punch to it. And it's a little concerning to me because these are players that I grew up watching in my youth. Some of the best players to play the game at these positions, and not necessarily being labeled that way. But it's the 1988 Score Super Shortstops featuring Cal Ripken, Alan Trammell, and Tony Fernandez. 3 very, very, very good shortstops in their own right. As I mentioned, 2 Hall of Famers there, and Alan Trammell and Cal Ripken. And then Tony Fernandez was a very, very good shortstop throughout the bulk of his career in the American League with Toronto. This is from the 88 Score series. Score no longer does. They went out of business or got bought out by somebody years ago. But this was part of their 88 series of cards, and it was an insert of that series. And again, there's certain things when you're rummaging through cards, there's certain faces that you gravitate towards, obviously. Anything with Ohtani, anything with Judge, anything with those types of players, Harper. Those types of players, you always grab stuff and move it off to the side. And that works in every era of baseball. Back when I was a kid, these were the faces you gravitated towards. You saw something with Cal Ripken on it, you grabbed it. You saw something with Alan Trammell on it, you grabbed it. Maybe not so much Tony Fernandez, but with the other 2, you grabbed it. And I have a bunch of Ripken cards, nothing like no rookies or anything like that, but a lot of Ripken stuff, and it's somewhat valuable. And I got a bunch of Trammell stuff too that's somewhat valuable. But apparently, pictured together on a card that's labeled the Super Shortstops card is not that valuable. Again, $3 to $5 on most reputable sites that I looked this card up on. But this is a cool card. And, I'm such a nerd about this that I'm looking at this card and all I can think about is where this picture was taken. Like, at what time of the season was this picture taken? This could have been in an all-star game, right? It kind of looks like it might be at an all-star game, but I don't know if this is a major league park that they're standing. Look at the setting behind them. It looks to me like a minor league facility or a spring training facility. This could have been a picture taken back in the early part of the spring training of that year. But I'm such a nerd when it comes to this stuff. That's immediately what I gravitate towards. Not the 3 players in the foreground, but no, I'm concerned about what's going on in the background. Like, what is that? Is that, are those palm trees? They're not palm trees behind them. So, or are they palm trees? I can't really tell. Let me see. Look at the card. No, they're not palm trees. But where was this picture taken? Now, all 3 of these teams play in Florida for spring training. So, is this at an all-star game? Could this be like at it kind of looks like the old Kansas City Stadium back in the day. Kind of looks like the way they were laid out back in the day. But It also looks like there's grass behind them. That field was AstroTurf. So it looks like they're on a grass field. Again, these are the things that I gravitate towards when I look at cards. But this is a cool card for nostalgic purposes only. Pretty cool layout. And here's my copy of it right here for you to see. Super shortstops from the 1988 score set. It's got a little bit of history back on there. It says 87 All-Stars. Now, I thought that might be a key because this card has on the back 87 All-Stars. So these were All-Stars in 87. Was this taking out the All-Star game? I mean, more than likely, that's probably where it was. And I'd have to go and do some research and find out where the hell that All-Star game was in 87. But we'll go with that. We'll go. It was taking out the 87 All-Star game during batting practice or something. But there you have it. Matty B's card review of the night. Super shortstops from the 88 score set featuring Tony Fernandez, Cal Ripken Jr., and Alan Trammell. And folks, it's going to take us to another show ending. We've reached the end. The big clock on the wall is telling me it's time to go. We've gone over an hour tonight. We've uncovered and broke some good ground. Jaden Phillips, fourth player the Philadelphia Eagles have added over the last 10 days on defense. Does this constitute an overhaul? It does. An in-season overhaul of your defense. Is this a desperate move by a desperate GM? And is this the right way to build a dynasty or to get back and win another Super Bowl? He's a rental player. So is Jair Alexander. The Eagles have gone down from 13 draft picks to 8. They have 23 upcoming free agents next year. How do you build, or more importantly, how do you sustain a dynasty with that kind of turnover? And is Jaden Phillips the missing piece? Is he what we needed? I guess when you add in all the help at cornerback, this could be a different defense coming out of the gate here against Tampa or against Green Bay. And we'll definitely be talking about that more as the week progresses, as we're back in business with the Eagles next Monday night against the Packers, as they'll resume their season after the bye week. So we'll definitely be here for you for all that. And of course, fine programming like the Birds Blast with Kyle Quinn. I played you. Fine programming like the Birds Blast with Kyle Quinn. I played you the intro. We'll be back this week, as well as the Birds Flyby, our Eagles post-game show next Monday night. So back in business with the Eagles, and we're back in business here on the network. Tomorrow night, it's locks, props, and parlays, and some clear the ice. So make sure you're staying tuned for all the stuff that's dropping. Of course, there are some things that we talked about last night, little reorganizational things that I will have some information on later on in the week about. And once I find that out, I will definitely tell you about it. But until then, you guys have a great rest of your night. We'll see you tomorrow on the Clear the Ice program. Take care.